Hey everyone, this is going to be my 2021 planner and journal lineup. I have a lot of stuff. If you're not familiar with my channel, I really love to keep a lot of different notebooks. It's mostly notebooks for journaling. I keep my planning pretty light in the grand scheme of the planner community, I think. So I'm going to go through all of these with you all. And I want to try and keep this as brief as possible. So I'm just going to give a general overview of what each of these things are. And I will link below any other videos that I have that go into detail about each of these setups. I more than likely have videos about each of these things because a lot of these things I have been using for a little while now. So we're going to start with planners. I have two. Everything else I have are some type of journal. So this is my mega planner and this is a Hobonichi Weeks. For this one, I think this is I'm going on my 4th year of having a Hobonichi Weeks. I usually use it as my everyday daily planner, but sometimes if I'm not feeling it, it kind of gets relegated to a shopping list and a meal planner. But since September of 2020, I have been deep into using this as a planner. So I have one for 2021 and I will be continuing on with that. I will just put the new one in here when the time comes, which will be December 31st. I am not going to use any of my new planners until January the 1st. This is my mega planner. I've spoken about this at length. It has 4 sections in here. I have a section for I have pictures in here I didn't cover up, so I don't want to show those. But I have a section for notes, a section for YouTube, where I just write down the title of the video on a monthly calendar, a school section, and this is where I document everything we have done for homeschooling, and a medical section where I just keep track of a medical condition for someone in my family. I have had this since March or April of this year, and I really love having this system. It keeps me really organized, and I love knowing that everything is all in one place. So that will be continuing on into 2020. This does have a dedicated pencil pouch. This is a Lindoc pouch, and this has very specific stuff in here. All of these things I use for each of these setups in here. So I only pull this out when I'm in this planner, and they just go together. They're a pair. So those are those two, nothing new there. So let's get into, let me move this out of the way. This is all of my core journaling. So I have also talked at length about these setups, so there's nothing new here. They will be continuing on into the new year. This is my current daily journal. This usually in here, I recount everything that happened during the day, and when I do that, I start going off on different tangents, and then it becomes a little bit of a brain dump and very stream of consciousness. I love to use my stickers and washi tape and ephemera and stuff in here. And I am not tied down to any particular notebook, size, leather cover, or anything like that. I move through these the fastest out of any other setup that I have. So I have chosen this to be the place where I play around and experiment and switch things up. You know, when things feel a little stagnant or stale and you just want to try something new, that is what I reserve my daily journal for. I made this cover. This is currently a Danica 58 Cosmo Air Light Notebook, and I will have everything linked below per usual. So that is what I'm currently using. I actually am, I'm hoping that I'm going to finish this up by the end of December. I do like to archive by year. So January the 1st, I want to be in a new journal. So I think I can make that happen. These two are the Hobonichi Weeks that I use to journal to my kids. I have the front cover in here. This I've been doing, I think this is like my 4th, or 2021 will be the 4th year that I am keeping a Hobonichi Weeks. I love picking these out every year during the Hobonichi release. I usually pick a specialty collaboration edition for each of them. And I just try to pick the ones that seem to represent their personality the best, or just something about them. So I really look forward to and enjoy picking these out every year. I usually just write a snippet. It's literally 1, maybe 2 sentences each day. And it might have something to do with that day, something funny they said, a first, or something completely mundane, and me just saying how much I love them. So it doesn't have to be anything super profound every single day. Something that I changed is the back notes pages. I was having trouble getting those filled up consistently. So my kids now know that they can take this notebook, they know which ones is which, so they will take their corresponding notebook and they actually draw and write and doodle in all of the back pages, and they're pretty much all the way filled. And I love that it captures their skill level for this particular year, so I will definitely continue doing that. These covers I've been in for a year and a half. These are from Maker South. I don't think either of these leathers is available. This is Wheat Harvest, and this is like English vintage horse front or something. But I love these. I haven't changed like the palms or the stickers, which are from Eureka Art Studio. I don't know, they just almost feel like an extra appendage on me now. Like I just know which one belongs to which kid. So I will be continuing on with that. Same goes for this. This is the Hobonichi 5-year. 2021 will be the 3rd year that I'm in here. I'm just gonna keep on going with this. I don't know what it is. I keep it very simple. It's only writing in here. On the left side, I write the highlight or the best part of that particular day. And then on the right side, I just write something I'm grateful for. So I just call this my gratitude journal. This cover is by Lacau. This is the chocolate leather with a chocolate front pocket. And I have Salty Pete in here. He keeps me company and we talk about the things that we're grateful for. So, oh, I did add this new pencil board from the new release of Hobonichi, and I love the browns and like the sepia tone of this. I think it goes with all the browns that I have going on here. So I'm gonna keep rocking that. It's so easy to do, and it also feels like another appendage on me, and I just automatically sit down and start working in these without even really thinking about it anymore. It's just part of my day when I wind down. So these 4 setups are continuing on as usual, as normal. And so now I want to, I want to talk about a few new setups that I'm really, really excited about. Let me pull out these 2. So I think there's only, yeah, okay, so there's 4. All right, let's just go ahead and start with the big ones. I made this cover. This is the Maverick leather, which is also the same as my Mega Planner and the Hobonichi Weeks cover. I made these, and I will have the leathers linked below in case that's something you're interested in doing yourself as well. This is my favorite leather of all time, and so I was really happy that I could source this and make things myself to my specifications. So this one really quick, I'm not really going to show this that much, but this is what I'm obviously using for like prayer journals. I have a bunch of prayer cards in here. This is a Javoon Techo A5 Slim zip pouch, and I have that tucked in there. And this is the Midori MD Codex journal. It's a dot grid, and it basically has like enough for 1 page per day. So there's like 368 pages in here or something, and has this little perforated corner. I've talked about this before too, but in here, I've just started actually just writing down some prayers. I really, really love writing. And as you can tell by all of the different journals that I have, but there's something about just sitting down and the act of writing is very calming and therapeutic to me. So I figured I probably need a dedicated notebook where if I just feel like writing, but I don't know what to write, I can just write prayers over and over. And I really, really like that practice. So that is what this is. And I don't embellish in here, so it's not going to bulk up. So it's going to retain this like really amazing fit that I love this. I love everything about it and how it feels and how much it's filled out. It's just delicious. So the other new thing, I've talked about this recently as well. This is going to be my smash book. I made this cover. This is basically Chic Sparrow's Buttered Rum, but I will link my source below as well. I did a double stitch on this because I thought otherwise the leather was pretty boring. And I might end up making a different cover for this. I'm not sure, but that's besides the point. This is the Midori MD one day, one page diary. So it has this faux leather cover with the embossed year there. And it is an undated daily planner technically, but I'm going to be using this as a smash book to keep my memories, and that's pretty much it. I have some monthlies in the front. I haven't decided quite yet what to do with those, but this is set up and ready for me to go in the new year as well. So that's that. So I have 2 A5 setups that I will be in like sporadically. It's not like a daily thing for me. And then I've shown this as well. This is the A6 Nanami Cafe Note, and it's so old and like it's stained from being in so many different covers. I've tried to use this multiple different times and cut out those pages and archived them. And now this is going to be turned into basically an art journal. I'm just going to call it that to save time. But I'm not a sketcher or a painter or a drawer. I really like to hand letter. So I'm going to be using watercolors and just markers and things like I don't normally use, and use that in here to practice hand lettering. And I think I'm going to be following some prompts, maybe like the Hobonichi challenge, and start there. So I will also be using this pretty sporadically as well. But I bought this cover because camping means a lot to my family and me, and I couldn't not have this. And as you can see, I do not have the clear cover on here. I've said in the past that I'm just going to let this patina and just go with it. I don't like how it fit with the clear cover, even when I stretched it out with my heat gun. And I just didn't like that plasticky feel and sheen. And I figured since this is outdoorsy and camping themed, that it would take any kind of dirt well. And that's what I'm telling myself. The last thing that I have added is this Nolty planner. This is the 6507. I think the 07 means the color. But anyway, I got this. I have not talked about this yet. This is actually the next video I'm going to do later in the week. I'm going to talk about what I'm using this for, but let's see. It is, oh my God, my ollie clip in there. Oh, so there's a monthly section in the front, just like that. I love how plain and simple this is. And then it's just full of these weekly sections. It's so subdued and minimal. I really love it. I was actually torn. Well, I was actually first considering the Jibun Techo, but it feels so blocky and kind of in the way. Like the spreads just feel like they're in the way. And I love how subtle this one is. So I got this from Amazon Japan. This is actually going to be a type of memory keeper. And let me see. It is actually going to be a companion to my daily journal. This is worked in on a daily basis. Look how good they match. This is some kind of faux leather cover. But I love the color of this. I don't want to make a cover for this either in leather. I love having it like this and how compact and wonderful it is. This started November the 30th, and I did start on that day. But like I said, they're going to be companions, and I'll show you really quick. I have a monthly that I've filled out, and I filled out the first week here. And it's basically highlights of the day. And I'll talk more about this when I do the video all about it and just do a focus on it so I don't get carried away here. But suffice it to say, this doesn't take any time. I highlight everything during the day, like while I'm doing it in the day. Like this is usually open. I sit down and jot things down. And at the end of the day, I have a summary of all of the high points or low points and just mundane points as well. And then when I sit down to journal, I reference this and it is a godsend. I can't even tell you how nice it is after a really long day for me to sit down and not have to like charge my brain up again to figure out what happened during the morning, because it feels like such a long time ago. I usually have this open while I'm journaling and filling out my kids' journals and then my gratitude journal. This just comes in so handy and I really love it. So I'll talk more about that later. In the week, I'll do a separate video. So this is a new edition that I am particularly excited about. So it's just these 4 things that I am adding, or that I just didn't really have during 2020. So that's kind of it, but I do have a few honorable mentions that I want to touch on. All right, I've got 3 notebooks here. Let's make room. So the first thing I have is this. I kind of did like a sneak peek of this on a video at some point, and I showed this on Instagram. So I made this as well, and it is, I mean, technically this is like a B6 Slim, and I have the embroidered Midori 5-year planner or journal in here. And after a lot of excruciating brainstorming about this, I have decided to not use this in 2021. I'm just gonna skip the year, basically because it was feeling like I was forcing it, because I have my Hobonichi 5-year, and since I'm doing the highlight of the day and gratitude in there, I was going to just take gratitude out of that and put it in here and kind of split what I was doing into 2 separate books. But that just felt wrong for some reason. It just felt like extra work to have to pull this out and like unzip it and do all of that. And it felt like I was really reaching for a reason. So I decided against it, and when I do use this, I want to give it just a really good, solid purpose. And because this is undated, I can easily make that decision. I don't have to use it right away, which I'm so, so grateful for. You basically put in the year yourself, so you can use this anytime you want. You can skip years if you want and then come back. So I love the freedom of this, so I'm gonna hold off on this and I'm not gonna use it, but I may journal in B6 Slim this coming year, so I will reserve the use of this cover for that. It's so sloppy. This is the first time I ever made anything with a zipper, and I've since learned of a whole bunch of things that I did wrong. So these corners were absolute trash, but whatever. And I didn't line up the zipper correctly. Like there's more space here than here. It was a hot mess. So there's that, but I'm still gonna hopefully get to use this cover. So sad, but there you go. So these 2, let me see, let's do this one first. This one's really, really huge. This is my financial planner. I pull this out at least once a month, like twice a month maybe. But this is kind of a reference book for my husband and myself. I have a video of how I made all of these inserts. I'm still using it exactly the same. I made this leather folder and stamped on it. But anyway, nothing's changed about this. This is where I keep all of our monthly bills and all of the things that we use to pay those bills, like stamps, envelopes, our checkbooks in here. So it's boring, nothing's changed. And I made this cover really tall. It's really, really long because it's actually made to hold like a letter size folded in thirds. because I mean, technically it can fit in a standard size traveler's notebook, but it sticks out everywhere and you can't actually put it in a pocket. So these folders in here can actually hold like a letter size and fit everything perfectly. And that's what I wanted. So this will continue on, but it's nothing I ever really show on my channel that much because I mean, it's all financial stuff. So it's kind of boring. And then obviously really, really personal. And that's that. This, I was actually supposed to use this as my camping notebook. We get brochures and things from the places that we stay, and I like to keep those, and we usually circle the lots that are our favorite, so the next time we visit we have that as reference. The A6 was not really gonna work too well with that. I did set this up, but then I had the idea of making this an art journal, and I love that so much more. So I ended up making this one. This is like some really old leather, the really thick one that I first bought like over a year ago. And it was really boring. This is like the leather I end up with once I'm done with all of the beautiful pieces. I get left with these very uniform colored pieces and not very bold texture. This was a piece that was left over, but it was such an awkward piece, and this was right at the edge of the leather that I had, so it was going to be really hard to use. So I decided to cut it out, and it actually makes a really great front pocket, and it brings some interest to this otherwise boring piece of leather, that in my opinion. So this, I feel like I can't show because the brochures have information and stuff, but this isn't completely set up yet. And the brochures that I have, I actually just put it on the string. There's only one string here. So I don't know if I'm ever going to show this again, but I will, I don't know, I'll see. But this is here, it's in play. And when we start going camping again and start getting more brochures, then I'll have to really start using this again. But otherwise, this is something that's just kind of like waiting to be used. But okay, I think that's everything. I'm gonna try to put some of this stuff back on the table. Not all of this stuff isn't gonna fit. So that's my lineup. Not too different. I'm using a lot of the same things that I've been using for a really long time and adding a few things to spice things up. But also I do give myself freedom to stop using a certain setup if it's obviously not working or if I'm not having fun. The whole point of this is for me to enjoy having fun. And because I love writing so much, I love having a whole bunch of different outlets to work with. Anyway, let me know if you have any questions and if you're all set to go with your lineup for 2021. These are some of my favorite videos to watch. I love seeing a whole overview of everyone's lineup. So if you have a video, please link it below and so we can all watch it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.